UFC 299 O'Malley vs. Vera 2 is this Saturday, and for each fight, including the prelims, I'm going to go through a breakdown of each of the fighters' stats, their recent UFC fight history, the results of 7 different data science prediction models, the weighted prediction of those models, my final picks, and then I'll provide you guys with some logical, data-driven bets that you can consider, including probabilities and returns. Please like and subscribe if you find this interesting, informative, or helpful, as it'll help keep me motivated in creating these videos. Running this data and analysis, the prediction models, fight simulations, charts and graphs, and updating the site takes hours every day and week, so I'd really appreciate it. And thank you all for the recent support that you've shown. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Real quick, let's go ahead and review our recent results. For UFC Fight Night, Rosenstreich vs. Gaziv, we ended the night 8 of 11 fights, which is an accuracy of 73%. For the previous 10 events, we're averaging 66%. All-time, we're averaging 68%. All-time pay-per-views, we're averaging 70%. And all-time fight nights, we're averaging 67%. Alright, for the first fight, we have Ion Cutelaba versus Felipe Lins. Ion Cutelaba, hailing from Moldova, is a light heavyweight fighter known for his aggressive style and raw power. His nickname, the Hulk, perfectly reflects his approach to fights, as he aims to overwhelm his opponents with his strength and intensity right from the start. Felipe Lins, on the other hand, is a Brazilian heavyweight who transitioned to the UFC with a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and striking. While Lins previously competed in a heavier weight class, both fighters share the common goal of making their mark in their respective divisions. Cutelaba's brute force contrasts with Lins' technical skills, highlighting the diverse approaches fighters can take to achieve success in MMA. Looking at their physical attributes, Cutelaba stands at 6 feet 1 inch tall with a 75-inch reach, giving him a slight disadvantage in height and reach compared to Lins' 6 feet 2 inches and 78-inch reach. Age-wise, Cutelaba is the younger fighter at 30 years old, facing the more experienced Lins, who is 38. Looking into their fight statistics, Cutelaba throws more significant strikes per minute at 4.63 than Lin does at 3.59, but with slightly lower accuracy. Defensively, Cutelaba absorbs fewer strikes and boasts a better striking defense percentage, which could be crucial in a striking exchange. Examining Cutelaba's last 5 fights reveals a fighter who has faced a challenging stretch, going 2 for 3. He has displayed versatility, finishing fights by knockout and unanimous decisions, but has also shown vulnerability to knockouts and submissions. While his ground game appears strong with a notable number of takedowns throughout his fights and a useful takedown defense, his recent performances suggest potential weaknesses in his submission and striking defense. Felipe Lins boasts a more promising record in his recent fights, winning 3 of his last 5 fights with 2 losses. He has showcased knockout power and solid grappling skills, even securing 4 submissions against Marcin Prachnio. While he attempts less takedowns than Cutelaba does, he still attempts and lands them. His recent performances paint a picture of a well-rounded fighter who is fairly comfortable. Predictive models are overall trending towards Cutelaba. While the odds favor Cutelaba at 55%, suggesting the betting markets lean towards his aggressive style, other models like the Logistic, Regression, and Random Forest favor him even more significantly. However, you can see that the neural network model throws a curveball, dramatically predicting Lins' victory. When we combine those insights from the predictive models, we find that Cutelaba has a slight edge as the favorite with a calculated 55% chance of winning. This consolidated prediction reflects a careful analysis of various factors and metrics, indicating that Cutelaba is just slightly more likely to win in what's expected to be a closely contested match. My final prediction, considering all factors, is that Ion Cutelaba will emerge victorious, and I agree with the model's probability of 55%. Given his higher volume of striking, grappling tenacity, and the ability to absorb and defend against significant strikes more effectively, I predict a win for Cutelaba. Analyzing his record and capabilities, a decision victory seems the most likely outcome. Cutelaba's strategy will likely involve using his striking to set up takedowns and control the fight on the ground, scoring him points with the judges. However, with his power and finishing ability, a knockout can be ruled out, especially if he can exploit Lins' defense with his striking precision. Next fight, we have Joanne Wood versus Myrna Moroz. Joanne Wood, formerly known as Joanne Calderwood, hails from Scotland and is known for her striking, particularly her Muay Thai, which is considered one of the best in the women's flyweight division. Myrna Moroz, from Ukraine, has shown versatility in her fights with a solid striking base complemented by a strong submission game. Both fighters have faced top competition in their careers, with Wood showcasing her striking in numerous stand-up battles and Moreau's demonstrating her all-around skills, making them respected veterans in the UFC. Let's break down their stats. Joanne Wood stands at 5 feet 6 inches tall and at 38 years old brings valuable experience into the octagon. She has a reach of 65 inches and an impressive rate of 6.93 strikes per minute with a striking accuracy of 51%. Woods' grappling stats show an average of 1.57 takedowns per fight with a 54% takedown accuracy. Her takedown defense is solid at 59%, and she averages 0.3 submissions per 15 minutes of fighting. Conversely, Moreau's is 1 inch taller at 5 feet 7 inches tall, younger at 32 years old, and has a 2-inch reach advantage. Moreau's delivers 4.15 significant strikes per minute with a 31% striking accuracy, and her grappling stats reflect an average of 0.67 takedowns per fight with a 22% accuracy. Notably, her takedown defense is lower at 45%, but she averages more submissions per 15 minutes at 0.7. Woods' recent fight history shows a challenging path with 3 losses and 2 wins. Her ability to land significant strikes is evident, especially in her fights against Luana Carolina, where she landed 131 strikes and triumphed with a decision, or even in her defeat against Lauren Murphy, where she managed to land 123 strikes but still lost via split decision. However, her vulnerability to submissions is also apparent, with 2 consecutive losses via rear naked choke. This pattern suggests Wood's potential to dominate in striking while highlighting a possible area in grappling for her opponents to exploit. On the flip side, Moreau's recent fights paint a picture of a resilient fighter with 3 wins and 2 losses. Her recent victory over Maria Agapova with a arm triangle choke demonstrates her submission skills, and the decision wins reflect her staying power throughout the rounds. Despite her recent losses, Moreau's shows tenacity and a capacity to bounce back. Looking at the predictive models points towards a mixed result. The odds probability heavily favors Moreau's at 62%, suggesting that the betting markets are confident in her abilities. Other models show a split decision, with some like the Logistics Regression and Support Vector Machines models giving Wood a slight edge, while the Neural Network model strongly supports Moreau's at 70%. The 1000 Fight Simulation model gives Moreau's a slight majority of the wins at 59%. When weighing all of the predictive models, they point towards Moreau's having a slight advantage with a 53% probability of victory. This suggests a closely contested match where either fighter has a fair chance to win, but the balance tips slightly in favor of Moreau's. My final prediction aligns with the statistical models, giving Marina Moreau's the victory with a slightly more confident 58% probability of securing that victory. Analyzing their fighting histories and their stats, Moreau's appears to have the edge in submissions, which could be the key to her success. Given Woods' recent susceptibility to submission losses, Moreau's might look to bring the fight to the ground and seek a finish via submission. However, if Wood can keep the fight standing and leverage her higher strike output, she might be able to outpoint Moreau's for a decision win. Ultimately, I predict Moreau's will find her opportunity on the ground and win by submission, potentially in the later rounds after wearing Wood down with her grappling and submission attempts. In the next fight, we have CJ Vergara versus Asu Almabayev. CJ Vergara is from the United States and competes in the flyweight division and has made a name for himself with his aggressive striking and his pace. He aims to climb the ranks with his performance-oriented approach to fighting. Asu Almabayev hails from Kazakhstan and is a rising star in the same division and is known for his grappling skills and submission victories. As a newcomer to the international scene, Almabayev seeks to establish himself as a contender with his technical proficiency on the ground. Both Vergara and Almabayev represent the dynamic and fast-paced nature of the flyweight division, where speed and technique are crucial to success. Let's take a look at their stats. Vergara stands at 5 feet 6 inches tall and brings a significant striking volume into the octagon, landing an impressive 6.01 significant strikes per minute with a striking accuracy of 57%. At 32 years old, he brings a mix of youth and experience with a reach of 68 inches, which he uses effectively to maintain distance. However, grappling appears to be his Achilles heel, with no takedowns averaged and a takedown accuracy of 0. His takedown defense is notable though at 74%, which indicates his preference to keep the fight standing. Almabayev is slightly shorter at 5 feet 4 inches tall, he's younger at 30 years old and has a reach of 65 inches. His significant strikes per minute are lower at 3.18, but with a higher accuracy of 65%. Almabayev's stats show a more balanced approach, with a strong grappling game evidenced by an average of 3.67 takedowns per fight and a takedown defense of 40%, suggesting a strategy that involves bringing the fight to the ground. Vergara's recent fight history shows a mixed bag, with wins by unanimous decision and a notable knockout via elbows. However, his losses via submission indicate a potential vulnerability on the ground. Almabayev's record is less extensive in the UFC, but his recent win via rear naked choke demonstrates his proficiency in grappling and submissions. The prediction models overwhelmingly favor Almabayev. Even the odds give him a probability of 79% for victory. This suggests that the models are picking up on Almabayev's balanced approach as a significant advantage. The linear regression and logistic regression models show closer probabilities but still lean towards Almabayev. The neural network model and the support vectors machine models give Almabayev a considerable lead, while the 1000 fight simulations show a narrower margin, but again, all of them are in Almabayev's favor. When we weigh all of the predictive models together, Almabayev comes out ahead with a 66% probability of victory. This composite suggests that Almabayev's grappling and submission skills, coupled with his striking accuracy, make him the more favored fighter. I'm going to add a little bit more confidence to that and say that my final prediction sees Asu Almabayev taking the win with a 72% probability. Based on the comprehensive data, Almabayev's strategy will likely involve utilizing his grappling ability to control the fight and seek submission opportunities. Although Vera has demonstrated striking capabilities, his defensive grappling metrics suggest he may struggle if the fight goes to the ground. Therefore, I predict Almabayev will secure a victory through submission, capitalizing on Vergara's weaker ground game, potentially with a choke given his previous win by rear naked choke. However, should Vergara keep the fight standing, he could turn the tide with his volume striking. Ultimately, the odds and stats favor Almabayev to leverage his ground advantage for a submission win. In the next fight, we have Rebelis Despain versus Josh Parisian. Rebelis Despain from Cuba transitioned from a successful judo career to mixed martial arts, bringing a high level of grappling and athleticism to the heavyweight division. His background in judo gives him a unique advantage in the clinch and on the ground. Josh Parisian is from the United States and is also a heavyweight fighter known for his striking ability and toughness. With several victories coming by the way of knockout, Parisian has demonstrated his power and determination in the octagon. Both Parisian and Despain bring different strengths to their fights, showcasing the diversity of skills present in the heavyweight division. Despain, towering at an impressive 6 feet 7 inches tall, has a stat sheet that is waiting to shine. With the odds heavily in his favor at -410, there's a heavy implication that he's entering this fight with a considerable reputation. Parisian, standing 4 inches shorter at 6 feet 4 inches, is a year younger and carries a significant strike per minute rate of 4.54 with a 48% accuracy, which shows a level of activity and precision in his striking game. His grappling stats show he's more willing to engage on the ground, with an average of 0.99 takedowns per fight at a 33% success rate, and a moderate takedown defense of 46%. He also has a submission average of 0.2 per 15 minutes, suggesting a well-rounded skill set. Rebelis has 4 wins, 3 of which were in 2023 in Fury, and 1 of which was in Titan FC. He's finished those 4 fights with knockouts in round 1. He's an absolute beast even at 35. Parisian's recent fight history is a roller coaster of wins and losses, demonstrating that he's been tested in the UFC's octagon. His victories show that he can finish fights by getting the KO/TKO and a split decision, and his losses suggest areas for potential improvement, particularly against submission specialists and more technically precise strikers. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to put these two in the fight prediction models because of Rebelis' stats. However, the confidence from the odds probability favors Rebelis at 78%, which is very telling of his capabilities, despite the absence of traditional statistical indicators. With what we have available, it's pretty evident that this will be a dominant performance. His victory will most likely come from a striking-based approach, considering how his last 4 fights have gone, his height advantage, and reach advantage, which would allow him to land significant strikes from a distance. If Parisian's past losses to submissions are any indication, Despain might also look to exploit this vulnerability to make a statement. I predict Despain will secure a victory through a striking clinic, leading to a KO or TKO, while leveraging his reach advantage to control the fight. In the next fight, we have the electric Michael Pereira versus Michael Olejniczak. Michael Pereira is from Brazil and is known for his flamboyant and unpredictable fighting style, which includes acrobatic moves and a high level of athleticism. He has entertained fans with his dynamic approach to combat, making him one of the most unique fighters in the welterweight division. Michael Olejniczak hails from Poland and competes in the light heavyweight division and is recognized for his striking power and resilience inside the octagon. Both fighters share a willingness to engage and put on a show, making them fan favorites for their exciting fighting styles. Michael Pereira is a dynamic fighter standing at 6 feet 1 inch tall and has a reach that perfectly matches his height at 73 inches. At 30 years of age, Pereira showcases a remarkable striking game, delivering 5.09 significant strikes per minute at a 53% accuracy. This striking skill is complemented by a solid ground game, averaging 1.56 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 55% takedown accuracy. Perhaps most impressive is his takedown defense at an astounding 94%, indicating that he's incredibly difficult to bring down to the mat. Michael Olejniczak is an inch shorter at 6 feet and slightly younger at 29 years old. He has a reach advantage at 74 inches. His stats are quite comparable to Pereira's in terms of striking, with 5.12 significant strikes landed per minute and a slightly lower striking accuracy of 50%. However, his ground game seems less developed, with fewer takedowns averaged at 0.76 and a takedown defense at 48%, which could be a critical factor in this matchup. Pereira comes into this fight on a notable win streak, with a series of unanimous decision victories and a recent first-round KO/TKO. This winning momentum is indicative of his well-rounded capabilities and his ability to finish fights both on the feet and on the ground. For the fights that lasted 3 rounds, he tends to outstrike opponents and pours on the volume. Olejniczak has a mixed record in his last 5 fights, with losses that point to potential vulnerabilities, especially against submission specialists or fighters that can control the fight and go the distance. Nevertheless, his wins by KO/TKO against fighters like Sam Alvey, Cody Brundage, and Chidi demonstrate that he possesses knockout power and is a threat that can't be overlooked, especially in round 1. The predictive models mostly lean towards Pereira. The neural network and support vector machines model shows a significant confidence in Pereira, suggesting that he has quantifiable qualities that these models value highly. The odds are also giving him a 57% probability of winning, which complements the prediction models. The model-weighted prediction gives Pereira a favorable 63% chance of victory. This comprehensive analysis indicates that while the fight could be competitive, the statistical edge lies with Pereira. My final prediction considers the versatility and recent performance of Michael Pereira, who I believe will take this match with a 60% probability. I slightly decrease the confidence since Olejniczak is dangerous in that first round. Given Pereira's high takedown defense and striking output, I anticipate Pereira will control the fight's pace, keeping it standing where he shines brightest, and outstriking Olejniczak. If the fight does go to the ground, Pereira's takedown accuracy suggests that he could be the one initiating the grappling exchanges, and his defensive capabilities make him less likely to be controlled or submitted. As such, I predict Pereira will win this fight by unanimous decision after a striking dominated performance that showcases his superior stand-up game and takedown defense. In the next fight, we have Pedro Munoz versus Kyler Phillips. Pedro Munoz is from Brazil and has been a staple in the bantamweight division. He's known for his aggressive striking and submission skills. His durability and willingness to engage in battles have earned him the respect of fans and competitors alike. Kyler Phillips is from the United States and brings a dynamic fighting style to the bantamweight division, characterized by his speed, athleticism, and versatility. With a background in Taekwondo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Phillips is quickly becoming known for his exciting performances and potential to climb the ranks. Both Munoz and Phillips exemplify the blend of technique and heart that makes the bantamweight division one of the most exciting ones in MMA. Let's look at their stats. Munoz is 5 feet 6 inches tall and 37 years old. He brings a wealth of experience to the octagon alongside a reach of 65 inches. He's known for his aggressive striking, as he lands 5.45 significant strikes per minute at a 43% accuracy. However, it's his ground game that often catches opponents off guard. He averages 0.47 takedowns per 15 minutes with a takedown accuracy of 19%. But don't let this low takedown number fool you. His takedown defense stands at an impressive 82%, showing his ability to keep the fight where he wants it. Phillips, on the other hand, enjoys a slight height advantage at 5 feet 8 inches, and he's 28 years old, in the prime of his career with a reach of 72 inches. That's a 7-inch reach advantage. His significant strikes landed per minute are nearly identical to Munoz at 5.36, but with a slightly higher accuracy of 46%. Impressively, Phillips averages 2.87 takedowns with a 46% accuracy, indicating a more proactive grappling approach compared to Munoz. Overall, Kyler Phillips' stats look more favorable than Pedro Munoz's. Munoz's recent fight history shows a tough run, with losses that suggest he can be outpointed by strategic fighters that go the distance of fights. However, his victory over Chris Gutierrez, where he scored a knockdown and landed several strikes, can't be disregarded. Phillips boasts a string of wins, demonstrating fight control, great striking, and respectable grappling ability, highlighted by a triangle armbar submission win over Marcelo Rojo, unanimous decision victories against Raomi Barcelos and Song Yadong, and a knockout against Cameron Else. His only recent loss came by majority decision, which highlights how his fights are competitive and he's rarely dominated. The predictive models give a clear preference to Phillips as the favorite, with odds reflecting a 66% chance of victory. Notably, the neural network and support vector machines models heavily favor Phillips as well, possibly picking up on his versatility and finishing ability. The gradient boosting model and the 1000 fight simulations, however, actually favor Pedro Munoz in this fight. Weighing all of the predictive models together, Phillips emerges with a 55% chance of winning. This speaks to a slight edge, likely factoring in his balanced attack and recent performances. Given his recent performance and versatility, I'm adding confidence to the weighted prediction model results, and my final prediction sees Kyler Phillips securing a victory with a 61% probability. Considering the range of data, Phillips's youth, reach advantage, and varied skill set, including his ground game, it most likely points to a fighter who can adapt and exploit Munoz's recent struggles. While Munoz does have the power to end a fight with one shot, the trend suggests Phillips will use his reach and grappling intelligence to control the distance and potentially the ground, leading to a decision win. If Phillips can avoid Munoz's power and implement his own strategy, he should be able to outpoint Munoz on the judges' scorecards or even find a finish if he can capitalize on any openings. In the next fight, we have Mateusz Gamrot versus Rafael dos Anjos. Mateusz Gamrot hails from Poland, and he has quickly risen through the ranks in the lightweight division with his well-rounded skill set, including exceptional wrestling and striking. As a former champion in other organizations, Gamrot has proven himself on the international stage and is keen to establish his legacy in the UFC. RDA, or Rafael dos Anjos, is from Brazil, and he's a veteran of the sport and a former lightweight champion known for his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai skills. Having faced the who's who of the division, dos Anjos brings a wealth of experience and resilience to every fight. The paths of Gamrot and dos Anjos represent a blend of emerging talent and seasoned experience that defines the highly competitive lightweight division. Rafael dos Anjos stands at 5 feet 8 inches tall and is the more experienced fighter at 39 years old. Both fighters have an equal reach of 70 inches. Dos Anjos delivers 3.5 significant strikes per minute and has a striking accuracy of 47%. His grappling skills are demonstrated by a takedown average of 2.01 per 15 minutes and a takedown defense of 56%. On the other side of the octagon is Mateusz Gamrot. Gamrot has a slight height advantage of 2 inches at 5 feet 10 inches tall and is younger at 33 years old. His reach nearly matches his height, and although he lands fewer significant strikes per minute at 2.97, he has a higher striking accuracy of 50%. Gamrot's grappling statistics are impressive, with a takedown average of 4.36 and an outstanding takedown defense rate of 90%. Looking at Mateusz Gamrot's 5 most recent UFC fights, we see a fighter who is not only active, but also very versatile. His record shows 4 wins and only 1 loss, with the most recent fight ending in a win against Rafael Fiziev by KO/TKO. He's also been able to secure victories in fights that go the distance, including a 5-round fight against Arman Tsarukyan. Throughout these fights, Gamrot has shown a balanced skill set, both in striking and grappling, even landing a significant number of takedowns. His loss against Beneil Dariush, however, does show a vulnerability to fighters with high volume output paired with a very strong grappling game, as he lost by unanimous decision despite a high number of takedowns. Rafael dos Anjos' last 5 fights paint a picture of a skilled fighter facing tough competition. With 3 wins and 2 losses, dos Anjos also experienced a loss to Rafael Fiziev, who managed to knock him out in round 5. However, dos Anjos' win over Paul Felder by split decision and his unanimous decision victory over Renato Moicano show that he can go the distance and win on points. His ability to secure takedowns, as seen in his fight against Felder, and to outstrike his opponents, suggests a resilience and an adaptability inside the octagon. He also secured a rear naked choke against Brian Barberena, where he landed 4 takedowns, which shows he's a very well-rounded veteran. The predictive models for the fight between Gamrot and dos Anjos offer a consistent result, as all of the models and the odds favor Gamrot. The odds probability heavily favors Gamrot at 75%, indicating strong confidence from the betting markets. The linear and logistic regression models suggest a more even match, with a slight edge to Gamrot. The random forest and neural network models also favor Gamrot, suggesting that his historical performance and fight characteristics are significant factors. The gradient boosting model overwhelmingly supports Gamrot as well at 98%, which is a contrast to the more conservative support vector machines and 1000 fight simulation models. Regardless, all of them are pointing towards Gamrot. Combining all of the predictive models, we arrive at a weighted prediction that sees Mateusz Gamrot with a 65% chance of winning. This consolidates the varying perspectives of the individual models and gives us a statistical preference towards Gamrot. This is clearly attributed to his stat advantages in takedown defense and striking accuracy, as well as a younger age and the height difference. My final prediction, taking into account all of the analyzed data, I favor Mateusz Gamrot with a more confident 70% probability of victory. Considering Gamrot's consistent performance in both striking and grappling, as well as his superior takedown defense, I predict that he will win by unanimous decision. Dos Anjos is a seasoned fighter with proven endurance, but Gamrot's recent fight history shows a capability to control the pace and location of the fight, which will likely earn him the judges' scorecards. I don't think we'll see a knockout or submission here because you have to respect Dos Anjos' experience and his skill set. So I think a decision is the most likely outcome for Gamrot. In the next fight, we have Caitlin Sermonara versus Maycee Barber. Caitlin Chookagian, who is now married and goes by Caitlin Sermonara, is from the United States and is a seasoned fighter in the women's flyweight division, known for her technical striking and agility. With a background in karate and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, she has consistently ranked among the top fighters in her division, showcasing her skills against the highest level of competition. Maycee Barber, also from the United States, bursts onto the scene with her aggressive fighting style and has been touted as a future star in the flyweight division. Despite facing setbacks, her determination and power make her a tough opponent. Both Sermonara and Barber have made significant impacts in their division, highlighting the depth of talent and the competitive spirit that drives them. Caitlin Sermonara stands at 5 feet 9 inches tall and is the more seasoned fighter at 35 years old with a reach of 68 inches. Her striking game is active, delivering 4.59 significant strikes per minute, though her striking accuracy sits at 34%. When it comes to grappling, she averages 0.27 takedowns per 15 minutes with a takedown accuracy of 15%. Maycee Barber is the younger contender at 25 years old. She's 5 feet 5 inches tall with a reach of 65 inches. Barber throws 4.6 significant strikes per minute with a more precise striking accuracy of 52%. Her grappling is more aggressive, averaging 1.14 takedowns with a 35% accuracy. Caitlin Sermonara's last 5 fights show a pattern of endurance and tactical striking. Despite her recent loss to Manon Fiorot, by a unanimous decision. Her wins against Jennifer Maia and Vivian Araujo by unanimous decision highlight her ability to control the pace and go the distance. She doesn't often bring the fight to the ground, but she has shown that she can handle herself against various styles. Maycee Barber's recent fight history is impressive with 5 straight wins. Her victory over Miranda Maverick by split decision and a knockout win against Amanda Ribas with elbows demonstrate her power and finishing ability. Although she usually likes to keep the fight standing, Barber also has landed takedowns through her recent fights, which shows she's willing to mix it up and challenge her opponents in various aspects of the game. The predictive models present a fascinating outlook on this matchup, with most models favoring Maycee. The odds probability favor Maycee at 63%, indicating the bettor's belief in her winning potential. The linear and logistic regression models show a close contest, but still with Barber in the lead. The neural network model significantly favors Barber at 72%, suggesting her recent performances and dynamic fighting style weigh heavily in the predictions. The gradient boosting model, however, is overwhelmingly predicting Caitlin Sermonara. When you weigh all of the predictive models together, Barber is predicted to have a 53% chance of winning. This composite takes into account her striking precision, aggressive grappling, and recent fight history. However, Caitlin's experience and resilience aren't to be underestimated, as indicated by this narrow probability margin when we combine all of the results. After thoroughly analyzing all data, my final prediction favors Maycee Barber with a slightly more confident 58% chance of victory. Barber's recent string of performances and her ability to finish fights, combined with her higher striking accuracy and more frequent takedown attempts, suggest that she'll bring a varied and forceful approach to this fight. I predict Barber will secure a win by KO/TKO, leveraging her powerful striking and ability to execute decisive finishing moves. Sermonara's experience could allow her to withstand Barber's strikes, but Barber's momentum and finishing power are likely to be the deciding factors in this contest. In the next fight, we have Curtis Blaydes versus Jailton Almeida. Curtis Blaydes is from the United States and is a top heavyweight contender renowned for his wrestling background and knockout power. His ability to control opponents on the ground and finish fights has placed him among the elite of the division. Jailton Almeida is from Brazil and is a newcomer to the heavyweight division, but has quickly garnered attention with his dominant performances and submission skills. With a seamless transition from the regional circuit to the global stage, Almeida is proving to be a challenging force. Blaydes and Almeida both bring a grappling-heavy approach to their fights, showcasing the technical and physical skills required to compete at the highest level in the heavyweight division. Blaydes stands at 6 feet 4 inches tall. He's 33 years old with a reach of 80 inches. His strikes are significant at 3.56 per minute, and he has a striking accuracy of 49%, showcasing his capability to land effective blows. Blaydes also excels in grappling with an average of 5.93 takedowns per fight and a takedown accuracy of 53%. Despite an average striking defense at 59%, and takedown defense of 33%, his stats reflect a balanced approach between striking and wrestling. Jailton Almeida is slightly shorter at 6 feet 3 inches tall and is 32 years old with a 79-inch reach. Almeida's significant strike rate stands at 2.78 per minute with a higher striking accuracy of 64%. His grappling is on par, with a takedown average of 5.14 and an impressive takedown defense of 75%. Although Almeida's striking defense is lower at 43%, his submission average of 2.4 shows he's a serious threat on the ground. Looking at Blaydes' most recent UFC fights, we see a mix of wins and losses. His latest fight ended in a loss to Sergey Pavlovich by KO/TKO. Prior to that, he scored wins against Tom Aspinall and Chris Daukaus by KO/TKO, which showcases his knockout power. His fight record indicates a strong preference for striking, with his victories usually coming from his stand-up game rather than submissions. Almeida's fight history reveals a streak of wins, with his most recent against Derek Lewis via unanimous decision. He demonstrates versatility with victories by rear naked choke submission against Jairzinho Rozenstruik and Anton Turkalj, as well as a KO/TKO win over Shamil Abdurakhimov. This winning streak highlights how he truly is a heavyweight fighter in his prime form with a well-rounded skill set. Predictive models provide a fairly consistent picture. The odds probability and gradient boosting models see the matchup as even, with each fighter having a 50% chance of winning and thousandths of decimals making the difference. However, the neural network model heavily favors Almeida with a 73% win probability, and the support vector machines model also leans strongly towards Almeida with an 82% chance of victory. Interestingly, the 1000 fight simulations diverge significantly, actually favoring Blades with an 86% win rate. When the predictive models are weighed together, Almeida emerges with a 54% win probability, suggesting a slight edge. This division is a fun one because you can get an early round 1 knockout or a lasting brawl, or even submissions. Considering the data and weighing the victories against skilled opponents that Blades has had, my final prediction is slightly less confident but still points to Jailton Almeida securing the victory with a final 52% probability. Given his high submission average and recent win streak, I anticipate Almeida will aim to bring the fight to the ground. While Blades possesses knockout power, Almeida's superior takedown defense and grappling may neutralize this threat. If Almeida can resist the early stand-up battle and engage Blades on the mat, he is likely to seek a submission. However, given the close nature of this fight, it's also possible that Almeida could earn a decision victory through consistent takedown attempts and control, tipping the scales in his favor with the judges. Therefore, I predict Jailton Almeida will win, potentially by submission, but a decision win is also a strong possibility in this closely matched fight. In the next fight, we have Petr Yan versus Song Yadong. Petr Yan is from Russia and has established himself as one of the top bantamweights in the world with his aggressive striking and high fight IQ. His tenure in the division is marked by several standout performances and a brief reign as champion, underscoring his elite status. Song Yadong is from China and is one of the youngest and most promising talents in the bantamweight division. He's known for powerful striking and athleticism. As a fighter who continues to evolve in each bout, Yadong represents a new generation of mixed martial arts. Both Yan and Yadong are known for their exciting fighting styles, making them key figures in the highly competitive bantamweight division. Yan, with a stature of 5 feet 7 inches and at 31 years of age, has an equal reach to his height at 67 inches. He delivers a high volume of significant strikes at a rate of 5.03 per minute with an accuracy of 53%, showcasing his ability to consistently land effective shots. His grappling stats are also notable with an average of 1.71 takedowns and a takedown accuracy of 52%. Yan's defensive skills are also quite commendable, with a takedown defense of 85% and a striking defense of 59%, indicating his ability to fend off opponents' attacks. On the other side, Song Yadong, slightly taller at 5 feet 8 inches tall, is younger at 26 years old and has a reach that nearly mirrors his height at 67 inches. Yadong lands 4.38 significant strikes per minute with a striking accuracy of 42%. Although his striking accuracy is lower than Yan's, his takedown defense of 73% and a slightly lower striking defense of 57% suggest a fighter who is also well prepared to handle incoming threats. Yadong shows less grappling activity with a takedown average of 0.63, but his submission average of 0.2 indicates that he is capable of capitalizing on ground opportunities. I'm not gonna lie, it's been tough recently if you're a Petr Yan fan. Yan's recent fight history has been challenging, with 3 losses from champion-level opponents out of his last 5 fights, including decision losses to Merab Dvalishvili, Sean O'Malley, and Aljamain Sterling. It's like we've seen a different version of Petr Yan recently. However, let's not forget what he's capable of. His win against Corey Sandhagen by unanimous decision and a high number of significant strikes in these fights display his striking capabilities and endurance in the octagon. He needs to add more volume to his striking because most of the times that he's lost, his opponents landed far more volume than he did. Conversely, Song Yadong's recent fight record is far more favorable with 4 wins out of his last 5 fights. Notable victories include a knockout against Ricky Simon and a unanimous decision victory against Chris Gutierrez. His ability to finish fights standing up or by going the distance highlights his versatility and power. However, if I'm being completely honest here, I don't think it's a fair comparison considering the level of opponents that Yan has faced versus Yadong. That division is absolutely stacked, and similar to fighters like Dustin Poirier or Oliveira who are from a different division, sometimes you can be an amazing fighter, but because of the level of talent you're facing, which includes the best in the world, losing to such opponents doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad fighter or that you're washed up. When examining the predictive models, we see a diverse range of expectations for the fight outcome, with most predictions leaning towards Peter Yan. While the odds probability gives Yan a moderate advantage at 55%, the neural network model actually dramatically favors Yadong with a 73% probability of victory. However, Yan seems to dominate in the 1,000 fight simulations with a remarkable 95% win rate. But the question is, what form of Peter Yan will we see in UFC 299? Will it be the Yan that earned his stats and wins before, or the more recent Yan that has struggled against champion-level opponents? The model-weighted predictions lean towards Yan with a 58% probability of victory, indicating that when all factors are considered, the models slightly favor him over Yadong. This combined prediction takes into account their respective strengths and recent performances in the octagon. My final prediction is that Peter Yan will emerge victorious with a slightly less confident 57% probability of winning. Analyzing this comprehensive set of data, Yan's prolific striking volume and high defensive capabilities suggest he will likely maintain a standing fight and utilize his superior striking skills. Yan's history of enduring full-length fights and his higher striking accuracy point to a strategy that could wear down Yadong over the rounds. Although Yadong is a remarkable opponent with the power to finish fights, Yan's experience and resilience are likely to be the decisive factors. Given Yan's impressive takedown defense, a submission victory for Yadong seems pretty unlikely. I predict that Peter Yan will secure a win, most likely through a unanimous decision victory after strategic striking battle, although late round stoppage can't be ruled out given his track record of landing a high volume of significant strikes historically. I genuinely hope that we see classic Peter Yan because it was really enjoyable watching him fight the way he used to. Although, seeing Song Yadong come up and score a spectacular victory would also be very promising for this division and fun to watch. In the next fight, we have Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. Gilbert Burns is from Brazil, and he has a significant impact in the welterweight division with his Brazilian jiu-jitsu expertise and improved striking skills. He has faced top competition and has been involved in several memorable fights, showcasing his resilience and determination. Jack Della Maddalena hails from Australia. He's a rising star in the welterweight division, and he's known for his striking accuracy and finishing ability. With a string of impressive victories, Della Maddalena is quickly making a name for himself as a fighter to watch. Both athletes bring a high level of skill and excitement into the octagon, with Burns' grappling ability and Jack's striking technique highlighting the diversity of talents in the sport. Burns stands at 5 feet 10 inches tall at 37 years old, and he has a reach of 71 inches. He throws significant strikes at a rate of 3.36 per minute with an accuracy of 48%. His grappling is respectable as he averages 1.95 takedowns per fight, though his takedown accuracy of 35% suggests room for improvement. Burns' defense is moderate with a 54% striking defense and a 47% takedown defense, signaling a need for caution against a potent striker. Jack is just an inch taller at 5 feet 11 inches and is significantly younger at 27 years old with a reach of 73 inches. He shows a high volume of strikes with 7.2 significant strikes per minute at an accuracy of 53%, painting him as a highly active and precise striker. His grappling stats show less activity with a .27 takedown average, yet his takedown defense is remarkably high at 82%, indicating his proficiency in keeping the fight standing. Analyzing Burns' last 5 fights reveals a pattern of resilience. Despite recent losses to Bilal Muhammad and Khamzat Chimaev via unanimous decisions, he has secured wins against Jorge Masvidal and Stephen Thompson, highlighting his ability to compete with well-known talent. His arm triangle submission win against Neil Magny showcases his ground game skill, which could be pivotal in his strategy. Jack's recent fight history paints a picture of a rising star with a string of wins, including a rear naked choke submission over Randy Brown and knockout wins over Ramazan Emaev and Danny Roberts. His capacity to finish fights both standing and on the ground marks him as a versatile and dangerous opponent. The predictive models present a consistent outlook, with most models and the odds pointing towards Jack Della Maddalena. The Logistics, Regression, and Random Forest models strongly favor him, showing 60% win probabilities. These models are picking up on Jack Della Madalena's striking volume and accuracy as significant factors. In contrast, the 1000 fight simulations actually lean towards Burns with a 65% success rate, which recognizes Burns' experience and his submission skills. The model-weighted predictions favor Della Maddalena with a 61% chance of victory, suggesting a consensus amongst the models that his striking and defensive capabilities are likely to prevail. However, we have to acknowledge Burns' experience and ground game as substantial threats, so for my final prediction, I foresee Jack Della Maddalena securing the win with a slightly less confident 57% final probability. Considering his impressive striking rate and defensive skills, it's likely that he'll keep the fight on the feet, where he has the advantage. Burns will need to be wary of Maddalena's power and precision. Although Burns has the submission skills to end the fight on the ground, Maddalena's takedown defense may keep the action in his preferred striking range. Therefore, I predict Jack Della Maddalena to win the fight, potentially by knockout or technical knockout, given his track record of finishing fights with strikes. However, if Burns can close the distance and bring Maddalena to the mat, it could shift the odds. Nonetheless, Maddalena's recent performances and striking ability seem poised to steer this match in his favor. In the next fight, we have Kevin Holland versus Michael Page. Kevin Holland is from the United States and is known for his striking, grappling skills, and charismatic trash talking. His ability to entertain both inside and outside the octagon has made him a fan favorite. Michael Page, from the United Kingdom, is renowned for his dynamic striking and unorthodox fighting style, which has led to numerous highlight reel knockouts. Both fighters bring a unique flair to their fights, with Holland's versatility and Page's striking ability making them intriguing personalities in the welterweight division. Holland stands at an inch taller at 6 feet 3 inches tall, with a 2-inch advantage in reach at 81 inches. At 31 years old, he delivers significant strikes at a rate of 4.39 per minute with a respectable striking accuracy of 49%. Holland also shows his grappling skills with his average of 0.78 takedowns per fight, although his takedown accuracy sits at 38%. Defensively, he's somewhat balanced with a striking defense of 51% and successfully thwarting 53% of takedown attempts. On the other side, Michael Page at 36 years old is an inch shorter at 6 feet 2 inches tall with a 79-inch reach. Page shines with his striking, delivering 4.53 significant strikes per minute at an impressive accuracy at 76%. His stats speak volumes on his ability to control the fight's pacing and location. Kevin Holland's recent fight history shows a mixed bag of results, with a significant win over Santiago Ponzinibbio via a KO/TKO, which demonstrates his striking power. However, losses to Stephen Thompson and Khamzat Chimaev by KO/TKO and submission respectively highlight areas where Holland has been vulnerable. His fight against Jack Della Maddalena shows a higher output of significant strikes, but it wasn't enough to secure the win, suggesting that while Holland is active and can land strikes, he might struggle against fighters who can match or exceed his pace and power. Michael Page fought at Bellator and has a full record of 21 wins and only 2 losses. His last 5 fights resulted in 4 wins and 1 loss, where he lost via a split decision to Logan Storley. His recent wins came via a knockout, a doctor's stoppage, and 2 decision victories. He's a veteran fighter that is versatile and very dangerous. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to put Michael Page through my predictive models, but the odds are forecasting Kevin Holland defeating Michael Page with a 54% probability, indicating that this will be a closely contested fight. Holland's varied skill set, including his striking rate and grappling ability, suggest he may have the strategic advantage. Considering his losses were due to strikes and submissions, it's reasonable to anticipate Holland will come into the fight looking to keep it standing, leveraging his striking accuracy and reach advantage. Therefore, I predict Kevin Holland will secure a win by KO/TKO. Page's striking defense and ability to avoid takedowns will make it a challenging fight, but Holland's slight edge in height, reach, and balanced approach might be the deciding factors, especially if he can capitalize on striking opportunities. In the next fight, we have our co-main event, the fight that I'm most excited for. It's Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Dustin Poirier is from the United States and has established himself as a top contender in the lightweight division, with notable victories over some of the sport's biggest names. His journey through the ranks is marked by thrilling fights and a reputation for never backing down from a challenge. Benoit Saint-Denis, hailing from France, is a relative newcomer to the international scene, but has quickly gained attention for his toughness and determination inside the octagon. Despite their differing levels of experience, both fighters share a passion for the sport and a drive to compete at the highest level, making them compelling figures in mixed martial arts. Poirier is the fighting veteran at 35 years old. He's slightly shorter at 5 feet 9 inches tall with a reach of 72 inches. He's known for his prolific striking, averaging 5.5 significant strikes per minute with a 50% accuracy. Although grappling is not his go-to, he still manages a takedown average of 1.36 with a 63% takedown defense. Saint-Denis is a younger fighter at 28 years old. He stands taller at 5 feet 11 inches with a reach advantage of 1 inch. He brings to the table a slightly higher striking rate and accuracy, and impressively a higher submission average, indicating his comfort in both stand-up and ground game. Examining Dustin Poirier's recent fights unveil a warrior that's tested by fire. Notable victories over the notorious Conor McGregor by KO/TKO cement Poirier's standing as an absolutely remarkable striker. However, his losses to Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira by KO/TKO and rear naked choke submission respectively signal vulnerabilities, particularly against fighters with powerful brawler-style striking or superior jiu-jitsu. His ability to withstand adversity and still come out on top against a rising Michael Chandler with a rear naked choke showcases his resilience and adaptability inside the octagon. Benoit Saint-Denis' recent streak is nothing short of impressive, with a series of wins by both strikes and submissions. His victories, notably over Thiago Moises and Gabriel Miranda by KO/TKO, highlight his grappling skill and finishing ability. His kick KO/TKO against Matt Frivola indicates that he can also end fights standing up, making him a dual threat. Saint-Denis has demonstrated that he can dominate fights, whether by striking or on the ground. Predictive models paint a varied picture for this fight between Poirier and Saint-Denis. While the odds probability in most regression models suggest a closer contest, the neural network and gradient boosting models swing heavily in favor of Poirier, reflecting perhaps his experience and historical data favorably. However, Saint-Denis is not far behind in several models, notably in the support vector machine's prediction. The disparity in models such as the 1000 fight simulations, which heavily favors Poirier, could indicate that certain dynamics of Poirier's fighting style are heavily weighted. When aggregating the predictions, Poirier, the underdog, emerges victorious with a significant edge of 62% probability according to the model-weighted predictions. This consolidates the various models and presents a more unified forecast, suggesting that Poirier's experience and past performances might give him the upper hand in this upcoming fight. After a comprehensive analysis of both fighters' histories and capabilities, I predict that Dustin Poirier will secure the victory, but with a narrow margin of 51%. Poirier's vast experience in striking volume, coupled with his proven track record against top-tier opponents, suggests that he will be able to impose his fight rhythm. Saint-Denis' threat on the ground and his 1-inch reach advantage will certainly challenge Poirier, but the veteran's striking and defensive skills are likely to prevail. Based on Poirier's recent performances and his ability to finish fights, I predict that he will win by KO/TKO. Poirier's precision and power, combined with his tenacity, are expected to find a home against Saint-Denis, leading to a stoppage in a highly competitive fight. One thing you don't do is make Dustin Poirier an underdog and underestimate him. In the next fight, we have our main event, Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera. Sean O'Malley hails from the United States and has quickly become one of the most recognizable figures in the bantamweight division due to his striking skills and charismatic personality. Marlon Chito Vera is from Ecuador and is known for his versatility in the octagon, boasting a balanced record of knockouts and submissions, and is very powerful. It's important to note that both fighters have faced off before, with Vera handing O'Malley his first professional loss in a match that stirred controversy and fan interest. Vera was able to land a leg kick that shocked the nerves in O'Malley's legs, ultimately leading to his downfall. Their contrasting styles and backgrounds, such as O'Malley's flashy stand-up game versus Vera's gritty, well-rounded approach, make them standout athletes in this division. O'Malley, standing at 5 feet 11 inches with a reach of 72 inches, is notable for his exceptional striking rate of 7.25 significant strikes per minute at a 61% accuracy. Defensively, he matches his striking accuracy with a 61% defense rate and fends off takedowns 62% of the time, though his grappling numbers are modest. Vera, 3 inches shorter at 5 feet 8 inches, has a reach of 70 inches and presents a balanced threat with a slightly lower striking rate and accuracy, but excels with a higher takedown average and a formidable 70% takedown defense. O'Malley's recent fights highlight his striking dominance, with knockout victories over Raulian Paiva and Chris Motino via punches. His performance against Peter Yan shows his ability to deliver significant strikes even in a split decision outcome. The no contest against Pedro Munoz may not have added to his win column, but it demonstrates his capability to engage with high-level competitors. O'Malley's record suggests that he's not just a striker, but also a tactical fighter who can manage a fight's tempo and pace. He also defeated Aljamain Sterling, outstriking him and getting the KO/TKO in round 2. Marlon Vera's recent fights display his tenacity, versatility, and power. His unanimous decision victory against Rob Font and Pedro Munoz and his knockout victories against Dominic Cruz and Frankie Edgar establish his power and precision in striking. A loss to Corey Sandhagen in a split decision illustrates the competitive edge he maintains even in defeat. Vera's track record shows he's a dangerous opponent who can end fights both on the feet and on the ground, as evidenced by his submission skills. The predictive models heavily favor Sean O'Malley, with most models giving him over a 60% chance of victory. The neural network and support vector machine models, in particular, predict a very high likelihood of an O'Malley win, possibly reflecting his striking volume and finishing rate. However, it's important to note that while the models are showing this, you can't underestimate Vera's power and precision. When all of the predictive models are aggregated, O'Malley receives a compelling 73% probability of victory. This weighted prediction considers all statistical inputs and suggests that O'Malley's striking, combined with his defensive capabilities, make him a considerable favorite in this matchup. After a detailed analysis of both fighters' records and abilities, my final prediction is that Sean O'Malley will win this fight with a slightly less confident 70% probability. O'Malley's exceptional striking rate and accuracy, coupled with his defensive skills, suggests that he will likely control the pace and the distance of the fight. Considering his ability to finish fights with his hands and the high volume of strikes that he lands, I predict that O'Malley will secure the victory via a KO/TKO. Vera's toughness and grappling will very likely pose challenges throughout the fight for O'Malley, including his deadly kicks, but O'Malley's striking versatility and fight IQ are expected to guide him to a decisive win. And that concludes all of the fights for this Saturday for UFC 299, which will be one of the best pay-per-views we've seen in a while. Here are some of the potential bets that I think might be worthwhile to consider based on the prediction model's strengths and unanimous predictions, along with the odds and the final probabilities that we discussed in this video, which is in the result column, and the returns for the moneyline bets based on those odds. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, as it will help keep me motivated in creating these videos. Running this data and analysis and the prediction models, the charts, and the graphs takes hours every day and week, so I'd really appreciate the support. See you all in the next one.